All right, everyone. So today we have Randy, and I can't wait for her to share her story and tell you all about how she helps others. So, Randy, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
So I clearly am a pet mama.
Yep.
So I have some cats and some dogs, but I also have some human children too. I'm an author, I'm a podcaster, and I love talking. I like to talk a lot. Most of the stuff I write and talk about is mental illness, and yeah.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, I never used to like to talk, and it's kind of ironic because now I have a podcast. So,
It's
but
funny
yeah,
how life
like
works.
yeah, exactly. Like I started working on myself and improving my life, and realized that I can help people by talking. So now I talk a lot.
Right? I know. So when I was little, I used to think about, I mean, I always liked talking even when I was little. But I used to think about people helping. Those were doctors, those were police officers, and yeah, okay, they help, but like there's so much value in sharing your story and in talking to others to help them know that they're not alone, that the struggle can get better, and so it feels really good to be a hopeful person.
It does, because we take what we went through, a lot of the hardships that we went through and overcame, and then help people overcome them themselves.
Exactly.
So, that's why I love like what we do.
I totally agree.
And then, what is your podcast?
So it's called the Write or Die Show. So write like you're writing something, because I'm an author. And I interview other people and we talk about their mental health journeys. I have expanded. I don't talk just about mental health. We also talk about developmental disabilities. We talk about chronic illness. I'm pretty open to most things because there's so much to share and so much overlap in resources and strategies. So but it's really cool because I mean, just like you, I'm sure you talk to people all over the world and it's amazing.
Oh, yeah. Yep. It really is. And it's awesome, like the people that you meet. And, one of the things that I like about having a podcast is I get to bring on, other people to come on and share their knowledge. So basically, I get to learn for free,
That's what I always say. I'm
So
like,
it's
oh, hey, I didn't know that. Cool. Like
yeah,
this morning I
it's
had
so
an
awesome.
episode. Yeah, this morning I had an episode and the person had on, I'm going to say it wrong again. I can't say it, but he had face blindness. So I learned all about that and it was so cool, but it's such a hard word to say unless I'm looking at it.
Yep. Huh. Well, that's interesting. Yeah, like I learn something new every day, and it's just so awesome.
Yeah.
So let's talk about your business. How you help people.
Yeah.
So if you could just give a quick rundown.
Yeah. So my business is writing and podcasting. And it's all geared towards helping people know that they're not alone. So it's all about that sharing my story, sharing other stories. So I've dealt with depression, PTSD, autism, raising a kid with autism, tons of different things. So I'm literally an open book. You read about my whole life in multiple books. But through that, other people have said some really inspirational things to me, because there's lots of times when I'm like, is this doing any good? Am I actually helping anybody by just writing some books? And yes. Yeah. So that's my main focus, is writing to share my story with others so they can help.
Amazing. And you're someone who lives with autism. Looking back when you were younger, and I know, like for me, my younger years were the hardest. That's like when you're trying to figure out who you are. That's when you feel like you're getting judged the most.
Yes.
And looking back, like what is something that you wish you could have told your younger self?
That other people's judgments don't actually matter in the grand scheme of things.
Amen.
Yeah,
I
that
wish
one
I could
piece of
tell
wisdom.
myself the same
Yeah,
thing.
that one piece
Oh,
of wisdom would have
yeah,
saved a lot of heartache and crying and tears and. Woof.
yeah. I'm 33 years old, and I only learned that about 3 years ago. So yeah,
Yeah,
it's
it's a hard one to learn. I had to go to therapy to learn that one.
yeah. Oh, I went through coaching, and I don't know how many books. I bet you 1,000 podcast episodes before it like clicked in my head. Like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna walk around, and people are gonna stare because I walk different. Oh well, why should that affect me? And
Mm-hmm.
ever since like I had that shift in my mindset, I was like, all right, I got this. Now walk out in public like nothing. It's like I don't care. Like
Right?
I'm here to live my life.
Exactly. Oh, you couldn't have said it better. It's perfect.
Thank you, thank you. So yeah, I agree with you on that. And then as you grow up, what is something that you wish other people without autism knew about you to make life a little easier?
So many things are popping in my mind right now. So I'm gonna say the biggest one that I have struggled with is communicating, but just immediately saying yes to something, and I have no idea what they actually said. Just like, yeah, okay, and so for the longest time, I would do that because I was taught as a younger kid, oh, you need to answer right away, right? And you need to be helpful. So it was always yes was the answer, even though it doesn't need to be. And so as an adult, I would be, yeah, okay. And the one day I said that, my husband's like, okay, you're gonna get your shoes on. He asked me to go to the store with him, and I'm like, what? Huh? What I said? What happened? So the biggest struggle is getting the attention first before you actually start talking. Don't assume that I've actually heard you, because so now I'll be like, yeah, okay, wait. I know I said yes, but wait, I didn't hear you.
So what did I just agree to doing?
yeah, it's been pretty bad. The struggle is real there. So I would say it, and I think that goes across for so many things. So like ADHD, or
it does.
Even just a neurotypical person, if they're not paying attention to you when you ask them a question, good chance they didn't actually hear you.
Yeah. My best friend does it all the time. And I'm always like, dude, you didn't hear what I said. Like, let's go. Listen.
Exactly.
So yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome. And then how many books have you written?
I really should count. I think I'm up to 20. I know it's a horrible answer that I don't actually know.
That's awesome.
But
no, I get it. I get it. Like,
yeah,
you start doing something like that all the time. It's like you lose track.
Exactly. And
like,
some of the books are so small because I intersperse my nonfiction with like kids books to break up the tediousness of sharing my story.
okay.
So, there's a bunch of novels, but then I've got a bunch of kids books. So it adds up pretty quickly when you add in those shorter stories in there too. But I feel like my 20th book is coming out December 7th. I think that's the number.
Awesome. And what's the most enjoyable thing about writing for you?
So because I write mostly nonfiction, it's kind of like therapy. So that is so much fun. And when I'm not writing nonfiction, or even if I am, just the creative flow, the juice is going, and I put my headphones on. I usually put on music, and I zone out of everything else, and I can just focus and be creative and kind of just be in the moment. And it's so hard to just be in the moment. People talk about meditation. I have tried. Yeah. It is not easy. But when I'm writing, it's almost like a kind of meditation. I'm actually in the moment for once.
Yeah, exactly. You're right. It is like meditation and therapeutic. And, we all know that journaling helps a lot. And what you're basically doing is journaling.
Exactly,
and
yeah.
I guarantee when you're writing, about your story or whatever, I bet you're learning a lot about yourself along the way.
Yeah, definitely. And
Yeah.
I always like to intersperse some research in there. So like in the one book, I was writing about journaling specifically, and I was like, I want to put some facts in here, not just that I know it, but some facts. So I looked some stuff up, and I was like, this is pretty interesting. So I definitely learned some things.
That's cool. Yeah, I've been working on my book. I have a couple of short little books, but
Nice.
how many do I have? See, I have 3. There you go.
There you
3
go.
of them. See, yeah, like I only have 3 and I still don't even know. But I'm working on my story. So like from start until now. And
Nice.
it's hard. Like it's like I'll start writing and then it's like, oh, I need to ask, my mom about this so I can get more details.
Yeah.
And then I forget to ask her, and then I don't continue. And then I finally get back to it, and then I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot to ask my mom.
Yeah.
So I think one thing that I thought about literally today is I think I'm just gonna record like a long 3-hour podcast of just myself
There
and
you
just
go.
tell my story. Just tell my story.
Perfect.
And then I think that'll make it a whole lot easier because then when I'm doing the
Probably.
book, I can like listen to the podcast and go, okay, let's emphasize a little more on that topic,
Exactly.
So yeah, that's an idea that I had today, so I thought maybe that could help you out.
I like it. Yeah, I've started actually blogging more of my story. So I've been dealing with like chronic pain for the last couple of years. So I was like, I should write a book about this. But I was like, yeah, but I'm writing this other book right now. So I've started blogging it. And then when it comes time, I can just take all those posts, put them together. And then, certain areas go a little bit deeper, expand on those ideas because a blog is very short. So expand on certain ideas.
Yeah.
So very similar, just instead of talking, I'm just writing it.
Yeah, exactly. Same difference. It's just for me, it's a whole lot easier just to talk. So
yeah,
it works out good.
Right? My brain, like, sometimes if I'm talking, I get on way too many tangents. So when I'm writing, I'm much more focused. Like I said, I'm more in the moment, in the zone. So it is easier that way. And doing little snippets and little tidbits is much easier than sitting down and be like, I'm just going to write this whole chapter. It's going to be about this.
And let me tell you, if you're not feeling it, you can't force it. It's just like impossible. It's like when you're writing, it's not something that you can go, all right, I'm gonna do it now. It's like no. But what you can do is, because one of my clients is a best-selling author, like 20-time best-selling author, and I've talked to her a lot about writing, and she's given me a lot of tips. But one of the things was you need to set a time every week, hopefully like 3 to 4 times a week, and you set that time for writing, because after you continue to do it over and over, it becomes a habit, and then your brain goes into that mode at that time. So that's a nice little tip that I got from her.
Yes, and I try so hard, and then life just loves throwing curveballs, and then I'm like, oh, I'm supposed to be writing right now, but guess I'll go deal with this child issue. It's always kids, Kids always mess things up. I love them most of the time.
Yeah, I agree. Kids make it difficult when you're an entrepreneur trying to do your thing, but you still have them, and it's not like they understand or care if you block off time to do something. They're just like, yeah, so what? I come first. Come on.
Right? I'm like, but I gotta do this. No, it's all right. My one actually does the art for a lot of the kids' books, so it's a nice little trade-off. I still have to pay her though.
Oh, there you go.
She likes the money.
That's okay. That's good. That's good. That's good. Awesome. And then I want to know, do you have like, if you were to recommend one of your books to help someone, do you have one specific one?
So I would say it would depend on what the problem is, because each of my books I do try to focus on a specific reason for it, and so helping. So I'll give you my top 3 choices real quick. If you're dealing with a depression, if you're dealing with like a depression, I would say Embracing Me. If you're dealing with the loss of a loved one, especially due to addiction, or there is addiction in your family, not for the person with the addiction, but for the family member, Goodbye Too Soon. And then if you are a new parent to a child who has been diagnosed with autism or any developmental disability, it would be very similar, but autism was my focus. A Mother's Truth.
Awesome. I know those 3 are amazing. And where can people go to find them?
They're all on Amazon, so if you just search my name, Randi-Lee Bowslaugh, there ain't nobody else with my name, so I'm good. You'll find all of
Same
my
here.
stuff.
I'm the only Nick you heard in the world, so it's really awesome.
Yeah, I used to hate my name when I was little, but now I love it.
Yeah. Well, this will be the first time that I say this on a podcast, but my stepdad, who now passed away 5 years ago, but I took his last name when I was in 3rd grade, so Earhart is his last name. Now, before that, my biological dad, I had his name, and his last name was Shoemaker. So you can about imagine how that went in school.
Yeah.
So I was very happy to change my last name.
Yeah, I always got, because Bowslaugh sounds like coleslaw, so I got made fun of for that a lot. And then when Austin Powers came out, and I hadn't seen the movie, I was still pretty young in grade school. People come up, be like, "Oh, are you feeling Randy?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I don't know what you're talking about." So that was horrible. When that movie came out, it was horrible.
I love that movie.
Well, it did not go over well for grade school Randy when she didn't understand what the heck anyone was asking her.
No, I totally understand that. Oh, that's great. It's always fun to look back on, some of the things that we went through when we were younger. Because now we can laugh about it. Back then, it sucked, but now it's just like, whatever.
Right? Now it's like, I'm living my best life. I don't know what those bullies are doing, but I'm living my best life.
Exactly. Same here. So I do have another question, and that is, my slogan is, your abilities are infinite. What does that mean to you?
Well, the first thing that comes to mind is just repeating it, because it's such a perfect sentence.
I know, right?
But I feel like you don't want me to just repeat it. So I would say, across the board, everybody has different abilities, right? Like, some people are better at talking, some people are better at writing, some are more creative than others, whatever it is. Like, some people are more handy. My husband is a mechanic. I could not tell you what the heck a piece of car or whatever is, even though he tells me. I don't know, right? So every ability is different. Every ability is worth something, right? Even when you think, oh, all I'm good at is, I don't know, recalling movie facts, making up something that seems trivial. That's a great ability that not everybody has. So I think it means everybody has something unique to them, and everybody's uniqueness is what makes the world amazing and infinite.
I love that. Amazing. So thank you for sharing that. And then, do you have any last words of wisdom that you would like to leave the audience?
Sure. So I'm going to leave them with my slogan because I feel like it fits in real perfect.
There we go.
The only way to end the stigma of mental health is to speak openly and honestly, which is exactly what you do.
I love that. I love it. All right, Randy, this has been really amazing. So thank you so much for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Of course.